Hey everyone, what's going on? Greg here again from Team Blast. So I talk all the time about how important it is to grow your share of local voice for keywords that have near me in them. So in this video, I'm going to go over my client. They are a locksmith company, and the keyword is locksmith near me. Back on April 22nd, they had around a 6.25% share of local voice out of a possible 100%. Now, most of the time, you're never going to hit 100% of the map. Every industry is going to be different, but for them, the top competitor has around, I think it was like a 30% or so share of local voice. So I knew we had a 6%. They're not getting many phone calls. I need to improve their share of local voice so they can get more high quality impressions, phone calls, and projects for them. In 1 week now, I've improved their share of local voice. We're at 16%. I feel really good. We're going to keep those rankings. It's going to lead to more, again, high quality impressions and phone calls for them. So, how did the Google heat map change in 1 week? Now, top left is the initial scan on April 22nd, then top right is the 24th, bottom left is the 27th, and then bottom right is the 29th. Now, when you look at this map, you're going to say, I don't really notice what's changed necessarily. The main thing is that flipping dots from orange or yellow to green means an automatic page one of Google ranking via the map pack. So Google only displays 3 organic map pack listings on page one of Google when you search for something like locksmith near me. So it might not seem like a dramatic change, but to go from 6% and then 5% of a share of local voice to now 16%, again, in more areas now where they're located in the area that they service, they're going to be on page one of Google again. So someone searches for locksmith near me, they have 10% improvement now in their share of local voice. It's going to again lead to more impressions, phone calls, etc. When I touched base with my client about this and I shared their rankings, they did let me know that they are getting more high quality leads to their business. And I can pinpoint that it's because this particular keyword now has dramatically improved in just 1 week, which is phenomenal. The big thing that I look at for all of my local SEO clients is taking share against competitors. So the way I look at this is that, and I've redacted the competitor's name and also my client's name, but I looked at the trend line of the blue line in the beginning. And I noticed on the 22nd, they had just under 11.25%. Then the 24th, they increased that towards 12.5%. I looked at them and I realized there are some vulnerabilities there that I can go after. So when I use Local Falcon, I look at every top competitor and also the secondary competitors' Google My Business accounts, and I look for gaps. Gaps could be things like hours, they could be descriptions, updates, entities, um, products, services. There's so many things that go into the competitor review. If you have any questions, feel free to just drop them in the video. I can probably explain this better over that, but really look at your competitors. And I noticed that we could take share away from them. So what I did here is my client is the red line. We've improved our share of local voice starting on the 27th, and then I ran the scan again on the 29th just to make sure that the ranking stabilized, and they did. So we took share away, we grew. That means my client's going to get more leads to their business because we took it away from somebody else. So what was done in a week? So starting in the top left part of this, the first thing I did was I went to their Google My Business account when they wanted me to work on this location, and I pulled all of their data, their calls, website clicks, impressions, views, the search queries. I got all that information. I noticed that locksmith near me was their number two keyword. What I mean by that is that that's the number two keyword that would be searched for that would then show their account. And I know because when there's a near me query, it generally has a very high intent behind it. So if you're searching for, locksmith near me, you need somebody who can probably come to your location very quickly. Maybe you locked your keys inside and you can't get into your house, or you had a break in into your commercial building and you need somebody to come in stat to change the locks and everything. Whatever the reason is, near me has a very high intent. So that's what I really focused on. Next, I ran 2 Local Falcon scans before any work was done. So after I pulled all the initial data, I ran the Local Falcon scans because I wanted to say, okay, where's their share of local voice? They were at 6.25%. Next time I ran it, they were at a 5%. So I felt confident, okay, we're roughly around this mark when we're open and all of our competitors are open. We're going to be around this. I can see that their impressions were down year over year from their Google My Business account. Their calls were down, mainly because probably this keyword was not performing as well as it was last year. So I got the baseline. I felt good. Okay, we're around a 6% share of local voice. Now I'm going to make changes. Top right. So I reviewed the top SLV competitors and looked for vulnerable competitors to take share away. So I just talked about this before, but I spent a lot of time looking at local Falcon and the top competitors and the secondary competitors and said, what are areas that I can, you know, take advantage of? So, things I've already mentioned too, how often you gain reviews, photos, updates, questions and answers. There's so much that goes into it. I put it all into Excel, and then that's how I work through it. I say, okay, I can probably take some share away from this competitor. I can get my client more phone calls for their business. Second row, all the way to the right, I rewrote their Google My Business description and added different service areas. So I think these are minor ranking signals, but you have up to, I think, 750 characters to work with. I think my client had somewhere around like 400. So I knew we had opportunity to really expand the description, get more information for potential people needing locksmith service. So I got more detailed into that. And then I rewrote the service areas. So I used a mixture of their map, ChatGPT. I looked at their website. I looked at a lot of different ways to figure out who is coming to their either their website or potentially if their Google My Business profile, and made sure those service areas were listed. A lot of times, what I noticed is that Google My Business accounts only list up the big metros and might list up like three. For example, I used to live in Boston. It was very easy to say I just service Boston, but if you are in Boston, you probably do Brighton, you do Charlestown, Rosendale, Jamaica Plain, all that. So really get specific. Next, I rewrote the services. So I rewrote a lot of them and rewrote the description for each. And then I also rewrote the products. So the products I used photos of the team. I rewrote exactly what they do. I think that was a bigger ranking factor than just the description. Third row, I expanded the question and answer content. So again, I talk to my client all the time about some of their best leads they get and questions that people have usually when they call. So I address them directly in their Google My Business account. This isn't data from SEM Rush. This is first party insight from my client. And I think that's actually more valuable than simply just what keywords to add from SEM Rush, what they might say. Next, I created updates. I removed spammy updates. So I noticed my client had it looked like some spam that was in their updated section, like very key, like probably, heavily into Chat GPT and just keyword stuff. And so I got rid of those posts and really just focused on clear and concise updates that I thought was important for their audience to see. Next, I embed the Google map directly on the site. So I talk about this in all my videos. I think that's a ranking factor. Embedding the map is a great way to build that connection for Google to see here is your business location, and here's the website, and here's how they connect. All right, bottom row now. So bottom right, my client regularly receives reviews and responds to them. So reviews are important. I think that they are an indirect ranking signal. The reason why I say this is because I don't think Google looks at it and says, well, this one listing has 500 reviews and this other one has 450. So the one that has 500 is going to rank better. And let's pretend they both have like a 4.8 out of 5 reviews. I look at it more from a click through rate perspective. So somebody who sees recent reviews might read them, and then the dwell time on their profile when they're looking at it, and then they decide to call or visit the website, I think has a stronger ranking factor. So it's a big explanation that I'm giving, but what the reason why I think this is important is that they're getting reviews. People are posting photos with my client when he works on their locksmith type of project. They're happy. They leave good reviews. He responds to them. I think that builds trust, and I think that helps amplify his opportunity to rank better. And then, of course, then there's and more. So and more. There's so many things. I didn't even talk about entity building. I didn't talk about schema markup. There's just a lot of other factors that go into local SEO than simply just everything I went over. But this is just a quick summary, of what I did in a week. This is actually a little, I would say, don't expect this to happen if you take all my suggestions, say, okay, in 1 week, I'm going to be able to rank better for my keyword after, listening to Greg. But I think what's important is to look for that baseline and say, okay, if I'm a locksmith, locksmith near me is important. If I'm an HVAC company, HVAC near me, or dentist near me, or anything else, get the baseline, figure out, okay, this is roughly where we're ranking. What can we do to improve our share of local voice, get on page one of Google and more places, get more phone calls, get more leads, get more customers, get more sales, whatever it is, get the baseline, make the changes to your profile, and then run the scans again within Local Falcon just to see if you're improving. And if you are, it usually lines up with then more phone calls. So anyway, that's the video. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. And as always, have a good rest of your day.